Hey, welcome back. So today I wanted to share with you something that is very, very powerful once it's understood, because it will help you fulfill one of the most important activities in your life, which is to awaken your imagination, which is to awaken the spiritual powers that exist within you. So in order to do so, I wanted to go over a quotation pretty much that you can find in the Bible as well, where it's stated that the elder shall serve the younger. Now this is symbolism, you could say, for your imaginative self being the younger and the elder being your physical self that ages and eventually passes away over here in this world. Now what we want to understand then is, how can we make this physical side of ours actually obey and serve this younger spiritual power of ours that is just about to awaken? The further you look into this, the more you give yourself over to this process. Well, it is like a rebirth inside of your consciousness, where your spiritual self starts to take over, which therefore can be considered the younger part of you, even though it is the eternal one. So it might not make a lot of sense at first, but hopefully it will after explaining some of these points throughout this video. Now, as an experiment, I would like you to see your physical self and your imaginative self as two beings. You can either live from your physical self with all its worries and limitations, or you can live from your imaginative self with all its freedom and possibilities. So what we want to do is see for the physical self, which in my case is called Renil. Now you use your own name, your physical self, how you're known by your friends and family and the world at large. Use that name. See that actually as a friend, as a different being than what you truly are. So for this aspect of yourself, in my case, which is known as Renil, I would like to see a wonderful life and great success. Just like that. You learn to see your physical self successful within your imagination, and then it will come to pass as long as you stay loyal to that vision and really truly want that for yourself. Which in my case, again, that self is known as Renil, physically speaking. So in your case, use your name. Play this little game, this experiment of detaching yourself from your egoic identity and seeing it from your spiritual imagination as if it's a friend, as if it's somebody else. But you want the best for them. So you become actual friends with your very self in that process. See, your physical self is like the persona your true immortal consciousness is using to operate in time-space reality. So be nice to it. How many people constantly condemn this physical side of theirs, doubting their physical abilities and resources? God only knows the true number. Even I have to remain careful not to do it myself. Now Renil has difficulty believing in things other than what his senses reveal. But I, the true imaginative spiritual power within Renil, do not have such issues. My real I amness can experience the fulfillment of any desire within itself. So the goal becomes to live from imagination and no longer let the physical outer us get in the way with its limited physical perception. So start today from the angle as if your physical self would be a different person, like a friend. And as with friends, you would want them to be happy and successful at their own goals in life. Now start seeing your physical self and your life from this angle by using your imagination, and walk around in the conviction that this physical self of yours shall be guided towards the realization of the imaginative state. You keep impregnating yourself spiritually with the feeling as if your dream is already realized, because imaginatively you can already clearly see what the dream would be about if it was a physical reality. So you let it dominate your whole mind and physical self so that it becomes compelled to obey and should act accordingly. Then finally, before you even realize it, your physical self is walking in an improved reality, one where the thing you dreamed about has become a reality for the physical self. So that is fulfilling the true motto, to live your dreams. In order to live your dream, you have to become one with your dream so it can find expression with and through you. To be one with a dream means that all those doubts and worries have vanished and you are in total harmony with your dream and are full of faith that yes, this dream belongs to my physical self and I shall grant it to him by making sure he obeys the dream and no longer gets in the way with its unbelief. Now what have I to do with this physical reality? What do you have to do with it? because it is only reflecting past imaginative ideas of mankind and the universe at large. I am better off focusing fully on what I'm creating in my imagination, for that determines the direction of my life. For a strong imaginative conviction and desire about something will throw me under a physical compulsion to make it so, to figure out the way towards it. Now, this is why we should focus on how we are using our imagination, because the rest will take care of itself. Redeem the physical being that you are. It was most likely trained to be full of unbelief and worries. Lift it out of its old habitual way of living by letting your imagination take over and guide the activities of the day. Now, another thing we have to be careful with is our mental tendency to focus only on what we can get. We focus on getting more and more, physically speaking, but the ultimate goal of your existence is to understand the creative power of imagination within you that brings all these things you want towards you. But the things themselves have no lasting power or purpose, for everything comes and goes and is replaced sooner or later, through the same power that gave birth to them at first, imagination. So our real struggle comes into view when we clearly grasp we live in a physical world where physical things are important and a demand is put on us to make sure we get things and have enough to survive. But now we are also learning that the true purpose of existence is to understand the spiritual power of imagination that helps you realize anything you want. But this power works beyond the grave as well. You can use it to get things physically, but they will be temporary. Never give your power over to the physical side of life, for it is a losing battle. Always remain vigilant in developing keener insight into the power of your own imagination, for it will set you free from bondage to this world. Whether you are rich or poor, it shouldn't really matter that much, because once you make it highly important, you're making wealth your god. And when you hardly have any, you start to suffer, even though the money was a temporary thing in a physical world that you used. You can become rich, of course, by using your imagination, but keep the main focus of your consciousness aimed at imagination itself, and keep working with that spiritual side that exists within you. Then you won't have to suffer. You simply call upon your imagination for everything you face in life, and you are working with an infinite source of supply. Imagination has no limitations other than the ones we create for ourselves, either due to ignorance or laziness. Now, one of the hardest parts to overcome within ourselves is this tendency to give our power over to the physical side of life. We start to bow down to circumstances and let ourselves be pushed by the demands of society. We are going about this in the wrong way, which causes stress and anxiety. First, aim your imagination at what you would like to achieve, and then let it guide you towards its realization. For imagination is one with God itself. If you trust in imagination, you are, in essence, trusting in God, for all things are possible to God, and likewise, all things are possible to your imagination. Remember this. Through imagination, you can instantly experience the fulfillment of any goal, and you should take it serious and get joy out of doing it. This is how you start to harmonize inwardly with your own dream, and then it can move into form in such a way you can perceive it as if it is existing outside of yourself. But ultimately it came from within, from your imagination. That is, if you keep obeying your vision and not let anything get in the way. Now, hopefully this video gave you something to think about concerning your own potential, because there's greatness locked up within you, and it is revealed once you open your inner eyes of imagination to behold the glory and wisdom in store for those who obey the creative power in God that exists within their very being. If you experience things you don't like, start imagining how you would like it to be instead, and actually find joy in this act. For if you can find joy in it, then it is sure sign that you are emotionally involved with your dream, and everything that needs to happen to make it so will occur in your world. Both you yourself will become compelled to act differently concerning your situation, and the rest of your circumstances will start to alter along with it. Trust in this power. Experiment with it so much that you can no longer doubt in these claims. Once all this falls into place, the older shall serve the younger. Your physical older self shall serve your spiritual imaginative younger self, and you have fulfilled one of the most important objectives in life, which is to awaken your own imagination, which is the Son of God in action. If imagination becomes awakened within an individual, what they start to notice is that it is as if two beings exist within you. Through one aspect, you look at your physical self as if it's another person. You can call it a friend. But you can also look from your ego to imagination and realize, is that the Son of God? I and my Father are one. He who has seen me has seen the Father. It is not I that doeth the works, but the Father within me. So once it happens, and imagination awakens, which is a spiritual power that is limitless, then you can look at yourself. You can look, in my case, at Bernil. Or you look in your case and use your name. And you say to that part of yourself, do not be afraid. Do not let your heart be troubled. For I and my Father are one, and I shall go out and make things happen through you if you obey me. Then in that act, the elder, which is the physical side of us, which ages and grows old, starts to serve the younger spiritual imaginative power within us. So what happened in me is that suddenly I'm able to look at Renil as if he is a friend. He should be a dear friend. Just like the physical being you are right now should be a dear friend to your imagination. But it can only make sense if you look at yourself from imagination. But then you would say to that side of yourself, I will help you. I believe in you. Do you believe in me also? Do you trust me? If so, together we can make things improve, for I, imagination, and my Father are one. So the power of God becomes manifest within the individual. That is the metaphysical mystery of consciousness. In all your difficulties, look always to me, and I shall lead you out of the darkness into the light. I am the way towards salvation, for I am the one revealing through vision what salvation is all about. If you tie this back to scripture, how Christ personified as a man was saying, do you believe? Are you of little faith? Can you perceive? Well, the power of Christ in us through imagination asks the physical self these questions. So your imagination is asking your physical, egoic self, do you believe? Can you actually perceive? If so, then step out and obey what you have learned. Now that's about it for what I wanted to share with you today, and it perhaps takes some contemplation on your part, but truly, honestly now, if you understand that there's this power within you that can set your physical self free, well then you're actually just about to start on the true journey of existence itself. You're about to discover the true power that lies dormant within you. Up until that point, most people, even throughout their entire lifetime itself, are only focused on their physical side. They don't really know how to consciously work with their imagination. They still see it as some vague power. Some power that is perhaps for only, childish people or immature people. But really now, imagination is the greatest spiritual power that exists within you, that you have access to. But through imagination, it is also like you are experiencing a different reality all the time. Like you have a different body and sensation of being. And it is this different spiritual body, so to speak, and that sensation of actually existing in different dimensions altogether that you need to bring to the awareness of the physical self. So it learns to trust it, learns to work with it, learns to obey it. That is how you can alter your reality around exactly the way you want it. Everything becomes a manifestation of your own imagination. Now, keep contemplating this. Become great friends with your physical self. Look at yourself as if it is a friend. Play this little game. And then, as you keep practicing this power of imagination becomes stronger within yourself. You get more used to looking at your own reality through imagination. And then one day it dawns upon you that it's true. Imagination is the greatest power in all of creation. Now, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing to receive inspirational videos on a regular basis. And with that being said, dear viewer, never forget that we are the dreamers.